picture was. But, so I am just going to be working on some of my older commissions that I've been finishing up. And by older, I mean I either got them and was working on them while I was abroad, or I got them while I was abroad, because I've gotten quite a few more since I got back. And so, you know, it's cool stuffs like that. But, you know, I'm really enjoying working on everything. I'm really, you know, it's a lot, but I am very glad to be here. I'm glad to be like here back home. I'm glad to be able to work on this kind of stuff a lot more again. You know, all in all, I'm just really glad about it. Getting my little pillow. You'll want to make sure to, like, whenever you're doing crochet, like, having your wrist supported like this helps a lot to make sure that you're not hurt or whatever else. Like, you can get injuries a lot easier if you don't have something protecting your forearm, like on your forearms, or just keeping it at the same height as your wrists like this. Yeah, all of my work does come with some complimentary cat fur. Per yours truly over there. Per yours truly. Gotta weave in the ends on these, but I'm making a ton of these for my market prep because, you know, they're fun to make. They're pretty quick to make, so I will be probably doing like a little tutorial on these because I just came up with the pattern randomly, and I was thinking that I could just like share the elastic bands and stuff now too, or the elastic bands, like the Amazon link for them, because I got them really like under $100. I mean under $10 for 100 of them, which for any kind of supplies really is pretty good. But you know, all in all, I'd say it was a pretty good deal. I enjoy making them, so I'm just going and using it as a stash buster too. Because I do have a lot of the Joann's like Pride collection style yarn, but the issue is that I don't normally work with double knit. I normally work with either laced or like chunky. So this thing of like having to put like in the middle, you know, like between what I normally work with, I just don't have a lot of things I know how to make in that range. And like even now, I'm actually double stranding, which means I'm using 2 of the skeins at the same time. Thank you. But yeah, so having a lot of fun with crafting and doing that kind of stuff, and I'm very grateful to be back at home. So you know, well, okay, oh, my bad. Yeah, no, that was on whatever. So yep, my bad. But so yeah, just a lot happening. But yeah, I'll be working on some new commissions, some old ones, little bits of everything in between. I'm pretty excited about it. So I'll be working on some of those. Hi. Oh, I am not from Pakistan. I am in the United States currently. So yeah, so yep, I'm in the US. Hi, I am just working on some crochet stuff, so I do a lot of markets and whatnot. Yeah, so I'm doing, let me, so I am, and I'll get this because I think this will be the most popular part. You can probably hear her throwing a fit that I picked her up, but here she is. And so I'm hanging out with her now that I am back from traveling for a bit, and she's a little bit of a attention hoe. And so yeah, no, here she is. She's very sweet, she's very, oh, come on. we're gonna, there you go, honey. She gets the princess treatment because she's got arthritis, so I flop her around as needed for her to be involved in whatever is going on. So she is here. But yeah, so I'm doing crochet and I'm working on some stuff like I sell at my local Pride market every year, so I'm actually just working on some like scrunchies themed around that. Let me move this to the side. Yes, I know, Inara, I know. You want to be the center of attention, always. But here's the kind of stuff. Oh yeah, they work on bracelets too, but like I have one that I kind of threw in to test it out, and I think I forgot to take it out. So it can be bracelets, it can be little hair ties. I think it's really cute because it can be all sorts of stuff like that. That's part of why I like it, is because people can use it for pretty much everything because they have them done. Hi, Tanjiro. But, yeah, so I make all sorts of stuff. So, favorite movie? Oh, geez. I actually don't watch a lot of movies, so it can be very, I don't know, it's hard to pick one. I honestly do like a lot of, like, it sounds so silly, but I'm still a fan of, like, the children's classics, and I watched a lot of, like, Studio Ghibli, oh, thank you. I watched a lot of, like, Studio Ghibli movies growing up. So I would say, like, My Neighbor Totoro or Spirited Away, like, I watched a lot of those. Food, I really do like spaghetti and meatballs, which, as basic as it is, I just love it. It's quick and easy, and you can be having, like, a long day at work or doing whatever else, and it's so nice to just be able to come home, take your pasta sauce, and you can make it ahead of time and freeze it, and then cook up some noodles, and it's nice and warm. Favorite color? It really depends if it's like clothing or like other stuff, you know. But clothing, yeah, I'm also a fan of black because I think that it just fits, like, in most things, like for everything but weddings. Basically it can fit pretty well, and it's really easy to do like more professional things like business casual or just outright formal and whatnot. I think black is just nice to have. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's really nice to just have it as an option, basically, because I think it does just work with everything else. So it's pretty nice. Destination, like, for travel? Yes. Yeah, okay. So, for travel, I gotta say, I went to Peru over the summer, and I loved it, and I'd love to go back. So that's definitely one place. But I have not been to India, but I actually do want to go to India. My dad, for his birthday several years ago, went to Nepal. So they went through India to get there, and they spent some time in India too, and they loved it. And since I do a lot of crafts and stuff, I know that India, I do weaving, for example. Thank you. I've met a lot of people from Delhi. Like, I go to a bigger university, and we have a lot of international students. So we have a lot from Delhi. It's always fun explaining the I think it's like 11. It's like I think it's like 11 and a half hours different from where I'm at. The time period, I mean not time period, the time zone, which is it's very fun to try and explain that. I don't watch a lot, so I don't really know much of like Bollywood either, but I have, I'll be honest, it's the kind of like movies that you just watch, like I watch hanging out with my friends, just Indian movie. It's not XXX, it's gosh, I gotta think. Cause I've watched quite a few with my friends. And so I know I've seen some. I am just horrible with names. But yeah, I have heard that name. Um I wish I watched more movies and stuff. I just never seem to have the time to with university. But you know, and so, oh yeah, but trying to think. Oh yeah, but it was it was fun because with the like India official time zone being on a half hour different than the United States, people here aren't used to that. For everywhere else almost, it's always exactly like on the hour, so it'll be 11 hours different or 12 hours different, but never 11 and a half. So the idea of it being 11 and a half was really interesting for my like my one of my professors was in India, and then he did the first class online so he could save money on the plane tickets to come back. But uh yeah, I do like to cook. Um yeah, so yeah, I do love to cook. I'm the I got two siblings, so I'm the oldest. So I don't yeah, my name's Sana. So yeah, but yeah, I am the oldest. I have two younger sisters, and then there's Inara. Inara is always fun. Come on. Yeah, that's definitely true. Sometimes I don't like having to be the responsible one, but you know, you do what you need to. So, you know, whatever needs to be done to taking care of the family, right? But, yeah. Yeah. Lots of the, needing to be the one to take care of things when other people won't, then, right? Yeah. How many siblings do you have? No, I know I'm not listening to music. I just have I have the headphones set up to have me, hearing what I'm saying so I can make sure that there's no, like, problems with the microphone or things like that. I do usually listen to music while I work on things. I just try to make sure I pay attention when I'm streaming, you know? Oh, okay, so you're the oldest out of four total, so you have three brothers or sisters. Oh, that's, yeah, I'm probably pretty lucky with two. Uh, but yeah, so yeah, it's part of how I got into this is whenever I was watching my younger siblings, I would do crafts type things and whatnot, and I would get most of my alone time when I would go and do weaving, like make cloth and things like that. So that's why I like doing both, and it's kind of funny that I did one around my family and like learned to do a lot of it with my family. Thanks. So I'm in university right now, so I finished my last year of the public school that everyone does. Like a bit over 3 years ago. Yeah. I think it's very helpful to know how to make and fix things. So I just try to think about that because I think it's always good to have hobbies where you do things, like where you make things, because I think that it's very easy to not feel like you're doing anything, but when you have like a physical thing you made, it helps. Favorite subject in school? Probably science. Like physics, biology, chemistry. I do a lot of that at while I'm in university. I didn't really flunk classes. I've always been a pretty good student. Yeah, you can ask basic science questions, sure. But I always grew up where they took school very seriously, so I always did pretty well at it. Isn't it an grown adult 206? But you have more when you're a baby, like 208 that fuse together. And so that's why we have, like in our skulls, for example, we have like a big fissure down the middle and then they fuse together. Yeah, I do a lot of human medicine. That's kind of my goal. So, and I've had some big surgeries and stuff where I actually got some bones. So that was, you learn about stuff like that. But yeah, so. No, that's fair. Um, I don't blame you. Most people are kind of like, yeah, not very on it with that kind of thing. But always been a thing that interests me, so. But, yep, I do a lot of sciencey things, so it's kind of. Yeah, Ohm's law, it's like voltage is equal to resistance times current. So, but no, it's yeah, it's voltage equal to resistance times current, which helped me a lot on some big tests. Yeah, no, yeah, no, I know a lot of people say I like science, I like that, but you know, I like it a lot. I just like school a lot in general, so when it's like favorite subject for this or for that, I liked a lot of them. But oh, hi Nara. Uh, yeah, so all sorts of stuff like that. I mean, I took physics last year, so I'd hope I still remember that. I had to do my big test with Ohm's law and all of that sort of thing in May. So it's only been a couple months since then. But yeah. Got her just hanging out here too. She's always here whenever I'm doing anything. Uh, I wouldn't always say that, but I had to study a lot to get that kind of stuff down. It's just that for me, it takes me a long time to learn someone. A long time to learn something, but when I learn it, I remember it pretty well. Uh, I don't know. Maybe, but I don't know if you know this, but in the United States, we don't really do class representatives as much. Like, we have, like, votes at the end of the year, but they don't really mean much, right? Like, in other places in the world, I know that they actually, like, almost act as kind of, like, leaders for the class, right? But here, it's more of just, oh gosh, I'm trying to think about how to phrase it. It's more of just, it's just kind of like a popularity contest. Um, and yeah, I did some like the extracurricular activities for a little while. I did a lot of the like running. I did running for a while. I had to stop, but just because like I just have some issues with my joints, so like while I'm running and stuff, it's just really hard impact. But yeah, so whenever I stopped doing that, I did a lot of other things, and this is one of them. Oh wow. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, right on the half hour. Yeah, so it's 11 and a half hours ahead. Yep. So yeah, I mean, go to bed. Like I'm on a certain amount. But honestly, it was really nice to talk to you. Thank you. Yeah, it was nice to talk to you though, and I hope you have a really good night. Okay, sleep well. Yeah, you take care as well. Thank you. But yeah, so I am working on these, seeing about whatever other things. Um, and I'm just really thinking about how to get through everything for the fall, because what was that? What was that, man? Okay, okay, sleepy girl. Oh, so, oh, beans. Yeah, so I'll be working on these. I am hoping to get more into all that sorts of stuff, but one of my big goals is that I want to um, hopefully get, and it's a pretty big number, so we'll see if we get there. I would love to get a hundred, or realistically probably like 75 of these done in like various colors and whatnot by the time I market in September. I just think it would be really cool to have a lot done because I think they're pretty fun to make. Hello. Oh, hi, Karen. Hi. Yeah, yeah, no, I've not been on a lot lately. I've just been busy. I will fill you in on all the tea but there's a lot of tea. I promise you, there is a lot of tea right now. So with everything that went with my study abroad, my study abroad was a lot of fun, but there were also a lot of unique parts of it. Oh my goodness. So, but yeah, no, you'll hear all about that from me later. But right now I'm just working on these like little. I figured out how to make these like scrunchies. I think they're kind of cute. They're just, well, I mean, ignore all the yarn that I haven't like woven in yet. But yeah, scrunchie. It's something small to work on, honestly, which is nice. But yeah, you're still at work for another half hour then, huh? Oof. Imagine being a responsible adult doing the things. Criminal behavior. That's true. I do love a good scrunchie. But yeah, I just figured since I've been settled in at home. Ooh. Okay, very nice. Just for today, or? Yeah. No, but that's so fair. I'm like, yeah, I do love scrunchies. I really do just like scrunchies. They're so comfy. Especially because, like, you can see just how, like, thick my hair is. Like, there's just so much hair. And, scrunchies, like, they just feel smoother, and I think they're puffy enough. Yeah, so. Oh, yeah. End of month. Yep. I thought you meant working from home the whole day. I forgot that you're a silly goose who has to like you. Man, I do not. Yeah, I am very glad that I don't have a thing anymore where it is a work until it's done, not work until the day is done. Ouch. Um, yeah, I've had a lot of stuff like that. I'm very glad that. Yeah. But. Yeah. But I do have a big old weaving thing to do at some point. I was probably gonna show people because I gotta break out this bad boy again, the big loom. But I don't even know like what pattern I'm doing on it yet. Like I still have to design the pattern. Like I know I have the 5 colors for it in front of me, but I have no idea what I'm actually gonna be like putting it on. So I'm kind of like processing, you know, what to do with that. But you know, it's always a lot. It's always a lot. Um, but I am glad to be done. I'm glad to be done with the summer and like going into the fall again, but I'm also just like trying to figure out how to get all these projects done now that I'm back because I have these and then I also have all the other stuff I want to get done, and then I want to have enough space for Christmas stuff too that I want to make. It is helpful that I got into the wax melts though, because I think those will do pretty well at the market and not put as much like strain on my crochet stuff and me having like a ton of that prepped, if that makes sense. So I am pretty relieved about that actually. So, you know, that does help a lot. And yeah, thank you. Yeah, I forget you have some. I made some more of the Fruit Loops ones yesterday, and so, oh gosh, my entire basement reeks of Fruit Loops. And I'll have to go grab one. Give me just a second. I got these little, like, cups to attach, or like to put in the wax melter. And they're in 5 colors, so I'm pretty excited because they look genuinely really cute. But you can just put these little things in your wax melter. They just look like little coffee filters, and they don't melt, but the max will melt. The wax will melt inside of it, so it'll get liquidy in them, and then you can heat them up like after it's solid and put it back in too. So basically, it's like a little mini container to put in the wax melter, and then you can just change these out. So you could have like this one have the wax in it, and you can use it multiple times. So you can have the wax in it, have it go into liquid, have it like get hard again once it cools down, and put it somewhere else, and you have this, and then you can just treat this like a solid melt too. And whenever you like, you can change. I'm gonna be like, we're gonna have lavender in the purple one, and we're gonna have like lemon in the yellow one. So you could have like the lemon one melt it down, have it get hard again, and then you could put like the lavender in here and do it with this one. And then when they both get like cooled down again, you basically can treat this one like a solid lemon wax melt and this one like a solid lavender one. Like whenever it's hard inside, you can put it in and it'll melt it down just like it's just a regular thing. Like it'll just melt. I mean it works how you would expect it to, but that is still so cool to me. Yeah, I make wax melts, so I'll go grab one. And actually, I may go grab my wax melter and then just think about melting one to be able to show you guys, because I think it's really freaking cool. Assuming Inar doesn't freaking eat me for walking near her. She is so mad at me for having left her that now she's mad at me. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna have the, I don't know what that was, but, okay. Oh yeah, also, I don't know if you've ever seen this, Carrie, like, this is my little wax melter. It's a little mug warmer that it's a little wax melter now. And it's extraordinarily cute, and I am very happy with my decision. I don't make a lot of good decisions. That was one of them, though. That was one of the few. So, hoping I didn't use all my good decision points on it, though. If I did, so be it. But also, like, please. I'm a certified silly goose. I can't. I know, it's so cute. And especially now since I like actually drink tea, I can actually just throw like my little tea thing on it, you know. Um, this is also going to be a let me think of a good euphemism for this, a learning opportunity of if I can put, because I feel like I should know it ahead of time too, of if I can just put one of these regular like oh, jiggly wax melts in with it, you know, because I don't want to be doing that if I don't know, I'm trying to think of the word, if yeah, just if like I just want to like experiment with them before I will ever suggest anything like that to anyone, just because I feel like you should know how stuff works if you're ever gonna be like, hey. So we're gonna get that live wax melt footage in here. Pardon the messy freaking descaroni, but you know what, I'm gonna try and do something else. I have no idea how cameras and stuff work sometimes, it seems. So again, ignore all the crazy stuff. I don't know why I have part of Inar's inhaler right here, but here we are. I am one of those, like, I believe the term is nightstand gremlins. I mean, nothing's on fire, and you can see it melting. I'm gonna call that a win. I'm gonna call that a fat win. So, oh yeah, and I have some of my, like, finished quotation marks stuff over here. Okay, so it's like finished. It's literally just as simple as, it's called weaving in the ends. And literally all that is it's just taking the, like, you know how there's that little bit of string left over where you start or finish a project? It's just taking that and kind of like sewing it into the project so it doesn't accidentally unravel. Yup, it's melting. I smell fruit. I smell Fruit Loops. We are in action. And I am clearing off all my old yarn. We are winning. We are out here and we are winning. But yeah, it's working. Okay, that's genuinely so cute, and I'm gonna add a little bit more of the fruity boy. You know, I was like, we're set on fruit smells, and then I smelled more Fruit Loop, and I was like, we need more. Like, I am clearly starving for Fruit Loop. And I do like how I have it. I'm gonna put it where on this one at least, that the pretty part's upright, so you can see it kind of melt in. And then you just have the aesthetic Monster Energy drink. I do like how silly the camera makes it look, too. I do like how I figured out how to do perspective on this bad boy, though, because I think it's pretty cool. You can still, like, see the stand right here, but all in all, yeah, I'll give you all an update on that after, but I just, yeah, no, that got me thinking to, like, check on it, and I actually do really like how that's working and turning out, so I'm going to definitely keep that in mind. But, geez, I'm trying to think of how I want to, because, beans. Pro tip, don't forget you have joint problems, and then act like you don't have joint problems, because you do have joint problems. You're just the silly goose who forgets that. As you can tell, I have never once learned this from experience. But, yeah, and so, like, it's working fine. Oh, I am getting that pretty little melt pattern. Like, you can see it in there. It's kind of like melting. Well, obviously it's melting. But I like that pattern it's melting with, where you can, like, actually see the, like, red and yellow go out, right? So it's, I mean, I just like that, because it took me a long time to try and, to starting to get that right, is, I guess. I'm just glad it worked. Because, again, I wouldn't have ever suggested something I didn't think would work like that. Considering if it doesn't work, it can actually be, like, dangerous in this situation. And also, I just don't like to suggest... It's just not one of my super fun time things to suggest things that don't work. Believe it or not. But, no, it is very relieving that it does work as expected. Just because it just makes things a little bit simpler. And now I can say, like, hey, I know this should work. Yeah, or even just, like, because, like, think about it this way, too. Like, you just don't need to change out, you don't even need to, like, clean your wax melter with this. Like, I'll be honest, I'm not super into, like, I don't really clean it as much as I should anyway, but you're right, for some people it's, like, a big thing. And so, they're just little, like, plastic silicone type things. And so, with that, it's just, like, as simple as you don't need to do anything but just change the little plastic bit, you know? I'm gonna make sure it's not being too hot on here. And that's another part I like about this, is that it uses a fan to stop it from getting, like, too hot on any surface. I normally have, like, a little Pokemon style, like, I think it's technically supposed to be a washcloth, but it's this cute little cotton thing, and I just use it as, like, a little, like, pot holder. Yes, that is the word. But yeah, I will see if it hardens the way it should, like the way I'm expecting it to. And if it does, you know, like, good stuff's right there. We'd love to see it. But if it doesn't for whatever reason, you know, also a W. Or, like, if it doesn't for whatever reason, not also a W. But it does mean that I'm going to know what the issue is, and then I can kind of, like, fix it. So that definitely is helpful. So I am glad, and I have them in 5 little color sets. So I think it'll actually be, like, genuinely cute as heck to just have multiple. That way you can have, like I said, like, a lemon one or this, that, or the other thing. And I was just gonna throw, like, I was originally thinking 5, but I might honestly just do, like, 2 of each, so 10. Because I was gonna sell these little, like, kits for Pride Fest, effectively. And that's also kind of, I'm, like, thinking I might want to get, like, an Amazon affiliate link, and then just, like, be able to link this stuff too, especially for, like, because I'm trying to think of the words, like, for the wax melters and stuff, because I have some ones that I particularly like, and, you know, I'd like to be able to suggest ones that I particularly like to people. So that would be cool, because believe it or not, I like being able to give specific product recommendations instead of just, good luck, pat them on the shoulder and be like, figure it out, especially because it took me so long to get into like, wax melts and stuff, because I'm, like, and it's not a bad thing, but I'm a huge nerd about fire safety. Like, I would get terrified of, like, I would, like, look up all of the safety ratings on all of the extension cords I was even thinking about buying and stuff like that. Like, was it on paper good? Yeah, but did it really suck to have that kind of anxiety about, like, everything I've ever done? Yeah, a little bit. So it was just kind of like, but we made it work. We girl bossed that. I just did a, like, graft effectively to combine two pieces of yarn together, and then realized that it was completely incorrect, and I don't even know what I did. Like, I literally, there's not a single thought in my skull right now. Like, I don't even know. I'm normally the one who, like, fixes crochet mistakes, right? Like, that's kind of my bread and butter. I don't know what I did. Okay. I think we figured it out, but we'll find out. But that's another part of the scrunchies I freaking love, is that, like, here's the other project I have to work on, and I'm, like, glaring at it. I love it. Like, this thing is gorgeous, and I actually have a lot of fun making it. But, like, there is no room for fucky wuckies. Like, pardon my language, but, like, if you make a mistake, you need to know how to fix it then and there. But on scrunchies, it's like a what, like, 20-minute project at max normally. So if you're just like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I'll have to show you. I'll show you that after I finish the scrunchie. I'll flex it a bit more because I am really proud of it, believe it or not. Oh, and you're gonna love this. The person who ordered it from me actually is getting it because they're a mermaid performer down in Florida, and because it matches their mermaid outfit. That is amazing. That is probably going to be one of my favorite reasons for someone wanting one of my things, like, ever. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I am very, very excited about that. But yeah, no, so that just makes me very happy, and kind of, like, it's silly, but I don't care, because sometimes you just need absolutely silly little things like that. And if someone who is professionally a mermaid wants my stuff because they're professionally a mermaid and they think it looks good with their super professional mermaid trademark, like, make sure you have that stuff capitalized, professional mermaid, like, business attire, so be it, you know? Like, I honestly, that's as valid a reason as any for me to make and sell anything. But oh yeah. But it was my first time working with yarn, like, because it's, like, the same sized yarn as what I normally work with for the other thing, but it's in specifically, like, technically it's sock yarn. And I just haven't dealt with, because, like, when you buy sock yarn, it's just different because it's meant to be short, quick color changes, like you could see when I showed it to you for a second. But for the big cakes I get, like, for my big projects normally, they come in, like, cakes, which just means it's, like, that big cylinder of yarn, effectively, like the big one that has very slow, gradual changes. It's big, slow, gradual changes, and I'd never worked with one with those, like, super quick color changes before, but I think I really, really am liking how it comes out with the dragon scale pattern, and I mean, honestly, it's so, I don't know why it's so funny to me, but she's, like, recommended me to her coworkers and stuff for, like, super professional mermaid attire. And so I suspect that I'll get some more from her whole squad, and I'm, like, A, really excited she liked my stuff that much, but B, also, please, I want to make things for mermaids. My eyes just stopped working, and I just lost all sense of depth perception for, like, 10 seconds. And so, and I was holding the scissors, I was just like, how does, yeah, no, I just completely forgot how space works. But yeah, I'll take a break from the scrunchies and I will switch. Okay, and also, not to flex, aka completely to flex, look at this little yarn winder. And I was like, oh, it's not gonna work right because the yarn's so small. Okay, well, like this boy's on his last legs, like this little skein of it. I have one more full one after this. Little man's, he's spinning. Oh man, he really is on that struggle bus, but we're gonna be nothing but supportive. He'll spin as he needs. See, there he goes. Great work. But yeah, so I probably should get to work on this bad boy, considering I'm like 70% of the way done. I got a lot more than I was expecting to have by now done, because well, on my escapade on Friday, this was the project I brought with me, and so I just sat in a park for a few hours and worked on it. But yeah, like you can see, and all, yeah, like you can just see, like, and I'm gonna get it at like an angle too, like you can see, like there's the actual 3D, like it's textured. And I love it. I am very much a fan of these colors, so I am definitely glad it's something she got me out of my comfort zone enough to try. Because, like, clearly, as you've probably seen from all of the stuff I've made, it's so horribly out of my comfort zone to be making another dragon scale item. But, even just it was really just the big thing of, like, I can buy other kinds of yarn, even if I'm not fully sure what it's going to look like, because I'll probably like it either way. And God knows I don't need another excuse to buy yarn. Yeah. Yeah, and I'll have to, yeah, because she picked him out. I was just like, anything from this weight, like, so thickness of yarn to this thickness of yarn, you're welcome to pick from. And she picked that and was like, here you go, here you go, here you go. And she was really excited. And so we looked all over, like, together we probably looked for like 3 hours, because she gave me the pictures. Hi. She gave me the pictures of her outfit to look off of. And we were like sitting through this together, because I was in Spain and I was bored and I was like, let's go. And I ordered it and it got here, and then sometime later I got here, and now we're working on it. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think it's definitely gonna be like, because I kind of have, like, I post pretty much everything I make, but I am putting together like a portfolio style thing, probably like going to be like a Google Drive or something. But this is something I'm thinking I'm genuinely going to want to like emphasize in the portfolio, if that makes sense, because I do really, like, I see we have some new people, but I'm making this shawl, and it is for someone who is professionally a mermaid. I'm sorry, I just love that. I love being able to say, hey, I'm making this for a professional mermaid, actually. But she is a pleasure to work with, and she is so nice, and she's already talked about wanting something for Christmas for herself, too. She actually got this for her outfit on, and, because she got this particularly, like, large booking she wasn't really expecting on, so she had the extra income. But still, that, and she walks on stilts for like professional performances too. I'm like, if I could sign up, I would. And like, be like, just honestly, like, I'm very risk averse, so the stilts, like the video she sent me, were like, oh my goodness, I could never. And like, low-key hoping she's got that quality health insurance. I'm just kidding. If you're good enough, you don't need it. But I'm kidding with that too. But she was just, definitely the right personality to like handle a lot of those children's events. You know, I could not handle. Children are the difficult. But yeah, no, she will get on these like 4-foot stilts and just walk around, and she'll do it like quadruped or biped, like so like 4 leg, 2 leg, whatever. She's going, and I can barely get her back around on 2 legs normally. If it's one of those days, it's me like poking at the cat while I'm on all fours. You know, like that's just where it is at sometimes, and nobody can stop me. But she's just like, oh yeah, what if we did that but fast? And she's fast. Like I've seen the videos. Like I'll have to show you later, Carrie. But she is like genuinely fast, and it just baffles me. Like I'm sure you've seen the people like at Ren fairs who dress up as like forest spirits and stuff, and like have to use stilts, like the big ones on the front arms and then shorter ones on the back legs. Um, she's like she can do that kind of thing, and like hers were really tall. And so I'm like, I could never. But I just think it's so cool. Like I'm nerding out so much. I'm hoping that she has videos of her performing more, because I'm gonna be like, whenever I get that shipping address, I'm gonna be like, by the way, please show me more. And but she has just been a joy to work with. I'm so happy I've gotten to work with her and to do all that kind of thing, and she's just been wonderful. And so I'm very, very pleased to be able to, I don't know, be able to do that kind of thing. It's very nice also with all of this to be able to just meet random people and talk about random, like, I don't know. It's just because it all seems very random, but there is still like that commonality. It's nice to have something that makes me more relatable to people, because I think it's very easy for all of us to be like, oh, like this is a crochet thing. My understanding is that you don't really crochet, and that's the main thing I've been talking about, and I happen to get tangential into wax melts, etc., etc., and we're just vibing. Like I vibe with that so hard, the idea of being able to like just vibe about it. Like that is incredible to me, because it's so hard, I think, for a lot of reasons, for people to like find ways to connect, I guess. And I've ranted about that so much, especially on this channel. But like it's so true. And it's so easy to feel so disconnected from everybody else. And to just have something that is just like a, by the way, you are now a human being alongside everyone else. Oh, hi! Okay, cool. I didn't know if other people were watching besides Carrie. It is really nice to see other people who do crochet, though. I gotta admit. It's nice to be able to talk about that, because, like, explaining single crochet versus double crochet. And then also, oh goodness, things like I think I've talked with you about this before, Carrie, but the difference between European and US crochet writing, because you have to check patterns and see if they're written in UK or US abbreviations, because if you don't, it can just throw a wrench in your entire plan effectively, because they just mean things entirely different. And being the standard US American person thing that I am, I didn't realize this at the beginning, because obviously nobody could do it differently than the way us Americans do it. That was a very interesting project. That was a very interesting project. So it's just, yeah, no, it's all sorts of fun stuff with that. But, yeah, and I mean, I've enjoyed it quite a bit. And yeah, so my wax melt did just fully get melted through like a little bit ago. I've just now noticed it was fully melted through. So what I did is I took it off the wax melter. I turned off the wax melter, and I'm letting it harden, so then I can see if it'll like I want to test how it pops out and stuff too, because I also heard that it's really easy for it to pop out once it does get hardened in there because the plastic is so malleable. I'm thinking it'll just make it a lot, like, less messy, I guess. I also make wax melts, and we're doing like a little experiment with some of the stuff that I got to sell with them when I sell them at markets and stuff. So, cool beans, you know, and yay. So, it's all good stuffs. Oh wow, I just hit an hour. I just got that notification. Did not feel that way. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. This is honestly the ideal way to pass my days while I'm waiting for school to start. It's just, that's true, but honestly, like, I'm feeling the material and it doesn't feel any less, like, sturdy. And I have a friend who, bless his heart, I'm working on getting him to stop, but he just leaves it on, like, all the time. And he's been testing them, too, and they've not really had an issue. But his is, like, this technically isn't the wax melter, it's like a little griddle. I'm in Missouri, I'm in the US. But, so it's like, he'll just leave it there and, like, let it just do wax melty things for, like, hours, and I'm always too anxious to have mine do that. But I figure if it's fine on my hot plate and it's fine on his, and he's gonna keep using them, and I'll probably keep using them as I do. Like, obviously, it's not, like, safety certification type stuff, but given the fact that the company has done so, I can at least say that, you know, the company has these certain safety things, and between our tests, which is, you know, like, day-to-day use, we think that those transfer correctly. Because, you know, it's like, yeah. But I do think it would be fine either way, because I truly think it's like, I think it's still, it doesn't feel like it, but I think it's the kind of stuff you would have in, like, baking molds. You know, like the silicone baking molds, it feels like those. Like, where you can put, like, normally, like, that's where I put the hot matte wax in, and then they soften. But those things can go in the oven and stuff too, and people use them for, like, making candies. And so, yeah, that's what I was thinking. But initially, like, when me and my friend, because he's my business partner for the market too, like, we've been good friends for a while, and so he's pretty great. But he was, like, feeling it, and I felt it, and we both did the, like, I almost just did it with the one with the liquid in it. That would have not been smart. The little, like, grab one and go. And we were, like, looking at each other, like that. So, I think our recommendation is, it says, like, on the site, it's usable up to a few times. We think all the reviews says people have been treating them as effectively, like, you know, infinite use, but I think it's less like silicone and more like, heat-resistant plastic, but with parchment paper. Like, you know how, like, I think wax paper is the one that's usable if you want to make fire. So don't put wax paper in the oven, but parchment paper, which doesn't make fire, can go in the oven. And so I think it's like a parchment paper lining almost, if that makes sense. I think that's the kind of vibe I get from it. So, you know, I think that'll be helpful. But beyond that, trying to think. Honestly, I'm not even going to pretend I fully understand it. Like I said, we were, like, looking at it, we were, like, taken aback. But, like, looking over it, it was, like, the best rated stuff. And I feel like, to be honest, with wax melters, I feel like people don't often take safety seriously enough, and that we probably should be supervising it all the time. I just feel like it's something that we just should supervise all the time. And I think that that's just what I'll tell people is, like, we can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, like, it's not really my thing either way, but I just want people to be safe with things. But it's like with candles, like, people will just leave candles on and then go take a nap and leave the candle burning. And that kind of stuff makes me so anxious for some reason. Like, I know it'll be fine, I know it'll be this, that, and the other thing, but it's gonna do this other thing called make me anxious no matter what a person does. So, oh yeah, but I have to tell you, I almost went up to Des Moines on Friday. I was like ready. I was in It's a place in Missouri that's up from where I am. And I just sat in a Sonic, and I was like, well, I was just vibing into Sonic with my little pretzel. But I almost came to see you. That was about when I was messaging you, was in the thing. But then I was like, I just was like, not feeling up for traveling, and so I just came home. But oh, I know. At some point I will, alright? Some point I will. Probably a little bit less impromptu, though. I always feel like a little bit of warning is probably better than not. But, oh yeah, I know. That's why I bring it up teasingly. But, honestly, all in all, like, it was nice to go see parts of Missouri I hadn't seen before, and I did find, like, a park I really liked. Like, a hour or so north of where I live. So it's like, I mean, honestly, like, for me, like, I've always hated camping, like, in tents and stuff, But I've also never had an issue with sleeping in my car, and I'm fine with, like, minorly uncomfortable temperatures and, stuff like that. And, like, I think that if I had the windows down or, like, anything like that, and and I had, like, screens over the windows and stuff like that, I think I'd love to just go camping and then just, like, sleep in my car, like, bring a generator or, like, a little, like, like, the little, like, mini fire stovetop things. Not stovetop, like, the little mini grill things, right? Like, I think I would have loved to go back there at some point whenever things are, like, calm and like, just more time before school starts or wherever else, and just kind of sit and do that, because I did spend a handful of hours, like, in that area, and at least, like, 2 or 3 just sleeping in that park. It was super comfy, actually. Like, it was a hot day out, but it sounds so strange, but sometimes it's nice to just feel temperature, feel maybe a little sweaty, feel whatever else. It just feels real for a little bit, right? But that was great. And that's actually, I just sat and I slept and took a nap and worked on this a little bit. So it'll be nice to have this finished too, and just kind of send it off and have it go to its new home. I'm thinking she'll really like it. But yeah, so very happy with that. But I'm already planning, like, to go up for a few days or a weekend or something like that once school starts with some of my buddies. Because, unfortunately, single chick, if it's just me traveling anywhere or, like, sleeping in my car on my own or something, it's not always the best idea. But if I had, like, 1 or 2 of my squad go with me, we could fit in my car easy, like, even sleeping. And I just think it would be fun, because with how much it costs per night at those places, like, sometimes they even have days where it's free. And we could just get away from everything for a little bit, and this is going to sound like the most Zoomer thing ever, but I have a hotspot. We got a really good deal when Sprint and T-Mobile merged, and so I get, like, 60 gigabytes of hotspot a month for free. And so, like, if we had homework or something to work on, you know, I have a tiny, tiny itty bitty hunch that we could probably make 60 gigabytes of data work for that. Um, yeah, and that doesn't even count with like tethering, I think. I think that's just if they do the formal hotspot. So I'm like, we could 100% make that work. It's definitely strange to be talking about that kind of thing, but I think it's also like important, I guess, to like note it as a big deal, because you know, like I am a full-time student, and as silly as that kind of thing sounds, it's like got to keep those grades up, and it is something I have to consider whenever I do think like, oh, I want to go camping. Because it has been so long since I've ever done anything like just go to a park and just sleep in a park. And you know, like I was in my car, you know, so it's not, it's different, but just go drive to like another tangent. But the Missouri Department of Conservation has so much like lore. It has so much lore. But basically, for like most of the history of departments of conservation, Missouri has A, had one of the first departments of conservation, and B, has pretty much without exception been the best funded department of conservation across the entire country, which is why we have such a good magazine program, which like if you aren't in Missouri you wouldn't really know that, but like all the schools get it, people get it as individuals. We have such a well preserved area in terms of like avoiding overhunting. Like it sounds so silly, but the idea of actually maintaining things like hunting license enforcement, fishing license enforcement, all that kinds of stuff, like it sounds really silly, but it means that we have certain species that are preserved better than they would have been in any other part of the country. And Missouri on its own has some really underappreciated biodiversity. Like there's kind of a saying, or not even like a saying, but like we all know like Mark Twain. Samuel Clemens was the real name, but Hannibal, Missouri, that's where he's from. But he had written at some point that the wilderness the wilderness of Missouri was so like thick and so crowded that a squirrel could go from one side of the state to the other without touching the ground. And you know that's been said about the whole area, but he popularized it. I think it was him. I know it was something I saw while I was in a Hannibal museum, but it was just about like just how thick the brush and everything else in Missouri is, and I just think it's really cool to just have that, because when we think of like biodiversity, we think of like, you know, like I don't know, since I grew up here, people don't really think of it as here. We think of the Amazon, we think of the coral reefs, we think of things like that, but for me it's just cool to be able to think of home. Um and so I really do enjoy that. I really do enjoy being able to, it's given me new appreciation just like since I've realized this. I actually learned this from a person I was taking care of when I worked hospice. He worked for the Department of Conservation for decades, and he told me all about that stuff, and I still have the little. He gave me a bunch of his old magazines from them, and I have one of their mini like they have like little mini calendars with a sticky back, and so you just slap them, and then they stick, and then you can like um it's like a car calendar, I guess, but I just have it on the side of my desktop, like my PC, on my PC tower. I just have it on there, and I'm like, I got my little day of the week. But it's cute. I like them a lot. I got a lot of really cool stuff from them. I'll have to just have a day where I just sit and talk about my hospice, my stories from hospice. because I have a lot of really big stories and really big, like, I don't know, I feel like I've been genuinely influenced in such a big way from the stories and people I've met, well, the stories I've heard and people I've met while I was doing hospice care. Like, I met this wonderful lady who spent most of her adult life working in the same, like, part of the university I work in and kind of grew up in. And I just think that's really cool. I think that being able to have talked about things I saw growing up and have it be where this adult would be like, oh my gosh, I remember that, and I remember I was doing this adult thing at the time, and you're like, how that change directly affected her job and what she did for work and how it connected with, like, it affected her life in very different ways than it affected mine. And I think it was just really cool to be able to see that, oh my goodness, someone else had a situation where they had that kind of influence, and that's how the stuff worked. And just the idea of having that be I don't know, it just really gave me some perspective, I guess, that I feel like I would have had in some capacity regardless, but it just made it real. It made me understand. It's like the difference between something being something you would understand in a textbook versus being something that you, like, experienced. Like, I'm gonna say something that is gonna cause immense emotional damage to everyone I know is in this chat. 9/11 is as real to me as World War II is in terms of my personal experience. Because, like, I wasn't around for either. Like, they're all just things I heard about and stuff like that, but I wasn't around when, you were watching TV and you saw it happen. It's like, my perspective is just very different because of that. And I think that it applies to a bunch of things to a less, like, blatant extent, but I feel like everybody who was around for that one can remember where they were and what they were doing when it happened. And for me to have someone who could have seen that with things where I was growing up and people didn't really remember it, I don't know, I just think it's really cool. But regardless of that, with the Department of Conservation, which was what I was originally talking about, yeah, that's true. But it's like, it's just very different because, I'm just young enough to where there's not really a universal experience like that. Like, I think there's all big controversies that we can all remember, or like, I don't know. Like, I know that, because the thing is with big events like that one, nobody was really happy, or like, everybody felt the same way about it. There wasn't really a conflicting thing. It feels like all of the major things I can remember were one person, like, one group wins, one group loses, and some were celebrating and some were mourning, and it's just like, but I don't know, that's just something that passes my mind occasionally, and I think it's fun to bring it up and give people some perspective about it, I guess. But and I'll have to make a video at some point where I actually show y'all, but right now I can't because I have it where everybody's, like, personal info is on there. But I have it set up to where I made a Google form that auto updates a Google Sheet. There's, like, a Microsoft version too, but I like this better because Excel is scary. Okay, I actually really like Excel. It's more of Google. It's more Microsoft Forms is kind of like broken. But anyway, yeah, and I have it all set aside to where I can just, it just auto updates it, puts it into columns, and I have it in a list, like I'm looking at it, of all of the commissions I have to get done. And then I was able to make submissions for like what I want to get done for my markets and stuff like that. And I have it sorted by like deadlines. I have it sorted by have I started it yet? Have I shipped it? Is it a new customer? Is it a returning customer? Um, Phone number, name, email, preferred contact method, questions, comments, what they wanted, what the initial quote was, what the materials are, and I enter that one usually. And it's just nice to have all of that information just like there. As silly as that sounds, it's nice to just have it there. Oh, hi! I'm making like a little shawl, like neck wrap thing, and it is gonna be like, this is technically called like crocodile stitch, but the pattern I'm using is Dragon Scale Shawl by Artificer's Archive. Yes, yeah, Dragon Scale. Yeah, okay, I do like that though. I'm actually gonna have to. That's fun. I might. That would be fun to incorporate because like I take photos of everything I make and sometimes. Yeah, no, I might call this one the snake shawl. Just because I really, you're right. Like I can really see that with this. Because like, it's like triangle-y, whatever though. It's just like, no, I can totally see that. But let me tell you, it has been a biscuit to make with how small the yarn is, but I am very happy with how it's turning out, and I would definitely say it's worth it. So I'm very, very glad it's turning out so well. I've never had one not turn out great, but also like this is my first time trying this style of yarn instead of one that's like a slow, gradual color gradient. And so it kind of took me off guard just how good this is turning out, because I really, really like it, and it's kind of making me, I shouldn't, but I'm like looking over at the other yarn I could get to do the same kind of effect, like the other ones in the line that this green and brown yarn is coming from, because it's all the same like little itty bitty skeins. Yeah, I mainly do amigurumi as well. Well, I used to. I've really gotten into making like wearables like this before, but I have a ton of amigurumi that I've made and I have my box of frogs right behind my phone. But yeah, no. So over winter break, I got really bored, and I made a bunch of the leggy frogs. Oh, okay. I love jellyfish. I love jellyfish so much. I love making those. Um, but yeah, I just made like a whole like Amazon box filled with leggy frogs, and I'm gonna either donate them directly or whichever comes first. Really, is we have our children's hospital opening up and a new Ronald McDonald House location. And then I have a market in September, and I don't know because the construction keeps getting delayed. But like either way, I'd want to fundraise for the Ronald McDonald House if the market comes before the donation period opens. Oh my gosh, I understand that. I I gosh, I have so many fun ones. I have so many amigurumi fails. I think it's part of the process for sure to just have the silly little guy is what I say. I'm like for every successful plushie, there's at least one silly little guy who came before it. That's kind of like my joking little thing with it, because I think it's true also. Um, but leggy blob, leggy frog, They're all just silly little guys. But yeah, no, I just figured like I've gotten into wearables because I got a little bit plushied out. Like I got burnt out because I just like as I've been getting into it, I've been very careful to not like get too like market preppy, I guess is the way to put it, because that's what happened, and I still sold out last year. That's fair. Like, and also your patterns are going to sell better than finished projects most of the time. Like, I have this little simple little poncho pattern because like there's much more complicated ones out there that are free. But the point is of mine is that it has like step by step pictures and it's meant to make something hard simple. Um, and give you like the baseline for reading patterns and for doing stuff so you kind of know what you're getting into, you know? I think that it's very easy to feel overwhelmed by the patterns and whatnot available just because of how it works, you know. Etsy is going to be your best bet. So with Etsy, whenever you're making a listing, you'll have an option for a digital listing. And when you do that, it'll just make it where they get sent a like file, like a Word document, a PDF, however you make your pattern. And then they'll get sent that whenever they like buy the item. And that's how I sell mine. And so Etsy just pretty much handles all of it after you have it listed. Just set it up on automatic renewal and it'll be all set. Yeah. I have mine like sell once or twice a month, and that's with me doing zero advertising. And that's with me having one thing in my shop. So if you have stuff selling, it's going to help other stuff in your shop sell and all that good thing and all those good things. So if it's something you take seriously, don't view it as a discouraged thing. Where do I make my PDF? Honestly, I normally put it together as like a Word document, or I've seen people do it on Canva, and then using those convert it to a PDF. That's how I've normally seen it done, but I feel like there's a lot of ways to do it, and all of them will be fine. But I mean, yeah, and yeah, and I mean, honestly, I'd give it a go. And worst case scenario is you could always run like I'm sure you've seen the tester calls on like Instagram or whatever other platform. You can always ask for testers and then go from there. Because like if they're like, yeah, this is good, you know, I like how this came out, I think it's cute, you know, yada yada yada, like you'll get from that it should sell pretty well. And the worst case scenario is that you don't make like a huge profit on them or whatever else, but like really, since there's no cost of materials to making patterns, really it's just your time. Like, and not to say your time isn't valuable, but it's not like you're going to be putting money into stuff. So if it's like if it's during a time where like it's fun for you to make patterns, or if you just don't have something else you could be doing that's like productive, then it's honestly fun to make patterns for me, and it's helped me like get better at making things in general, which I think is something that's not really talked about, because like if you can, what I always got told growing up was if you can write, you can read. And, you know, I think that applies to crochet and not just English. But yeah. You know, honestly, I've been there. I've been there. I did the same thing at first, too, actually. Um, yeah, and then I did that up until I saw SS, so slip stitch, and then I was like, oh, that is not what has been happening. So yeah, that was an adventure. Oof, yeah, I remember that. But yeah, we do good stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like, if you're looking into selling online, I would definitely look into selling patterns like that. For me, if I sell physical things, it's more often than not, like, I'll just find people online in, like, Facebook groups, for example, for my big projects, and then I'll look for local places to sell, like local markets, or sometimes there's local stores that sell things from people who make them locally. And so I'll do that if I'm selling like physical things. Because for me, like the main reason I crochet is because I just have a hard time sitting still, especially in classes and whatnot. Yes. Oh. Oh, ouch, ouch, ouch. Oh, yeah, no, that hurts. I'm sorry. Like, I A for effort, but that hurts a little bit. I'm not gonna say I was a whole lot different, though. But, I learned from YouTube, and it took me a long time to really get stuff down, to say the least. But, you know. Yeah, no, sometimes it just takes a minute. Um, that's one of the reasons I've gotten involved with, like, the crochet club at my university. Is because we help people with stuff like that while they're learning, because I'm sure you know from experience, because me too, about how much harder it is to learn something correctly after you learned it incorrectly than it is to learn it correctly the first time. Oh yeah, I go to I grew up in Missouri, and I've stayed here for university, so I'm at one of the state universities here. They're all kind of connected, really. And I go to the one where I grew up, so it's one of the big cities in Missouri, but not super huge, you know. And yeah, so I am studying like mainly nutrition, but I have to do all the bad, like hard science classes. Like I had to do a year of physics and stuff. So, oh, I've really needed something like crochet to just not have that going on all the time, right? Um, what about you? Are you going to university? Yeah, I've honestly, I'm so lucky that my cat, she has zero interest in eating my crochet. She just likes to sniff it and then stare at me judgmentally. Um, that's fair. No worries. I completely get that. I'm pretty open about it just because, between me being open about being in Missouri and then going to college, if someone really wanted to, it's not hard to figure it all out. So for me, it's just kind of like, meh. But I totally get why not everyone's super open about it, so like zero worries at all. Um, I started learning how to do all that stuff back in like, yeah, I think I started knitting like a long time ago, but it just made me so anxious, because like, with crochet, where if you like drop a stitch, you can just fix it. Like with knitting, like it is a big ordeal to try and fix a stitch if you drop it, because you have to like chase it down, because you have like multiple, like you have, like, you can imagine it as like all of these stitches, and if one like falls off, like if you do this, like this little bit that like fell off, right, this will go down your entire project, and it's just, you have to chase after it, or else the entire project falls apart, and it's just horrible. I just hate it. So that's why I don't knit anymore, even though my mom does. Um, so I'm a recovering knitter, is what I say. Now I'm a crocheter. And I do weaving, which I was planning on doing that on today's stream, but I'm not really like feeling up for it, and I want to design the pattern. Um, I mean, honestly, yeah, I would say it's pretty relaxing to crochet. Like, that being said, it's definitely something, for it to be relaxing, you have to learn how to do it first. But once you know how to do it, and once you're pretty like comfortable with it, and it feels less like, you can kind of see that I'm like able to look around, I'm able to do stuff like that. It's because it's something that you can learn. Like, I'm going to stare at the camera for a few awkward seconds while I do this to make a point of, you don't need to, it's not something you need to give all your attention. And if you make mistakes, it's easy to fix them once you figure out how to fix them the first time, you're going to know how to fix them. And so for me, it's just become something that I can just kind of do. Like, I know how to do it, and so I can just do it. And, it's nice because you get like a physical product at the end that you have made. Like, you made a thing, which sounds so silly, but honestly, the idea of making a thing is very nice. And from there, also, it's like, it's something you don't really need to think about after a while, and you can just kind of do it. But at the same time, you know how sometimes you can just have too much going on. You can just sit and breathe and feel what the project feels like and what it feels like to work on it. And you can just work on it and breathe and not have other things going on for a bit. So for me, it's really cool to just be able to have that, to where it's something that you can just do, and then also have it be something that you can like focus on whenever you need something to focus on like that. I think, yeah, like, I just like the flexibility crochet offers compared to other things, because like with knitting, it's just really hard to do things like make plushies or things like that. Like, I just don't, I just prefer how easy it is to adapt things like crochet to make new things. Versus with knitting, it's like very much for just making like cloth effectively, like cloth in the, like, in a flexible sense. It's not like it's just like, wow, I made fabric to go buy at Joann's, like that kind of thing. But it is just making basic like woven style shapes is kind of what knitting does. Um, I talk about it in a weird way because I do knitting and crochet and weaving. So I literally will make cloth from thread. Um, so whenever I draw connections or things like that, that's kind of just how it goes in my brain. But I think it's just really cool to be able to do that. And so it's cool stuff, But I think that if you are looking for like a relaxing hobby, yeah, that is how it goes. But that's also part of it, is if you are looking for something relaxing, crochet can definitely be that thing, but you have to like be okay with being frustrated while you learn, and being okay with the fact that like your first projects are gonna look like a traumatized kid's toy, okay? Like, they are going to look like they need therapy, like right now, kind of thing. And that is okay. And that's normal, and that's fine. And that doesn't mean you're not made for doing crochet. Like, I feel like everybody has their first project that they've made. And I feel like everybody is like, yeah, that's Richard. Richard's seen some things. Richard needs a hug. Like, I keep mine on my lanyard. I call him Chub because he's a white like loaf cat, and he looks like a marshmallow. He is no longer white. He is like a dirty, like dusty gray at best. He's got some holes that are weird. Yeah. Oh, that sucks. I hate when that happens. I get a lot from Joann's and then from Hobby online. But I will say, like, Joann's runs coupons sometimes to where it's, like, really cheap shipping. And if you time that, like, with one of their big sales, like, it's amazing. So I would definitely look into that if that's something where, like, if there is Joann's in your area or if they deliver to your area, like, I would definitely look into that. It's just very helpful, I guess, to, like, know that Joann's does that, because I sure didn't, and, oh, which yarn is it that you're looking at? Because I've seen, like, a couple of brands and stuff on Amazon that look solid, but I was just curious if there was one that you saw that looks good. Ah, that's fair. Oh, okay. So it's like, okay. Okay, I understand. And it's like, okay, no, I totally get that. It's just like, it's not a bad deal. It just sucks because, like, you wish that you would be fine paying a little bit more if they had just a little, if it was just a little bit bigger. Like, it's not that it's a bad deal, it's that it's just not just enough. It's just not enough. And you want a little bit more, but you don't want to go and get a whole other thing because then that's going to be too much. And then it's like, oh, yeah, I've gone through that so much. Squish. Yeah, I gotta say that the squish feeling was probably unbeatable though. We love a good squish. Um, but yeah, no, one of my friends got like a pretty good sealing, like a vacuum seal type thing for moving out of the dorms last year, and I got to play with it, and it was really funny. I don't have the video, I don't have the picture handy, or I would pull it up. Yep. But we vacuum sealed a squishmallow, like the big round plushies. And we also vacuum sealed part of my yarn collection to like keep it tighter, you know, because I have a lot that I got on sale, and like I have a lot of people who will just give me like yarn or whatever else. It sounds really bad, but I have a friend who like her grandmother runs like a craft group effectively for some of the people in her like assisted living area. But whenever one of them passes, they've already filled up the like community yarn thing there, so they just offer it to me. So I've gotten a lot of yarn that way. Um which sounds so bad, but you know, I at least use it and I'm a good home for it, and you know, I've gotten to put a lot of yarn like that to use with like my university's crochet club, and so that way we can teach people to crochet and they don't have to buy new materials, and it just helps a lot. But it is so funny in such a messed up way to be like, yeah, this is someone's grandma's yarn. We have it now. Um but you know, it's like for me it's like also I think that they would have loved like grandparent or whoever else would have loved to know that people are finding new life out of materials for a hobby they loved, right? Like I know I would. Um so I just try to think of it that way. But Man, I don't know what I would do if I went for a pickup and they had it all vacuum sealed and it just looked like the sand. Because bags of kinetic sand, like I can see exactly what that looks like in my head, you know. Um, Especially if you get into the really bright colors. But yeah, my friend having the vacuum seal, he gets back like in a few weeks, so it'll be really fun to see him then, and we'll probably realistically play with it while he's unpacking. Yeah, that is definitely fair. Um, but like I truly would recommend like looking for like a local event or something where you could sell at if you were like interested in that. Um, I just think that it's helpful. I guess I don't know. Like not really like helpful, but like it was helpful for me to be able to afford yarn, but it was also just like fun. Like it was genuinely just fun because like it's part of like why I'm streaming too is like I'm gonna be real, like I'm not monetized. I don't get anything like concretely out of doing this. Oh, I know, but like even if it's just like it doesn't need to be like a big event. Like you can also think of it as for example, like have you ever seen like a trunk sale? Well, people will literally like come up and sell like random things like flea market style out of the trunk of their car. Like you could even just do that there and at least get a little bit of extra to buy more yarn while you learn how to make more things and work on writing patterns and whatnot, you know? Like, and I totally get it. Like, it's not for everybody, and there's all sorts of reasons you can't. That's fair, that's fair. I'm just saying. Because I know that I just say that because I know that that's where I started, and it took me a long time to ever feel like I had enough, you know? Um, but even just like, just whenever you feel like you have enough, or if you do just need some yarn money, just give it a go, you know? Oh, especially for the ones that are just like completely free. Like, just give it a go, because worst case scenario, you just buy something that you like, you know, and maybe sell a plushie or two, and like best case scenario is you find homes for your plushies and get some stuff for later. I know. But one recommendation I do have for just having yarn be available, I don't know if you have like a senior center or like thrift stores in your area, but I got a lot of my yarn for the longest time from those places. And it's the same yarn you would get elsewhere, but it's cheap. And it's just, it was really nice. And it's like not the kind of yarn man. I'd also check Facebook Marketplace at least. Because I've seen a lot of stuff on there too. Um, and that's just an idea, you know, like it doesn't, I know it's not always, I know that anything I'm mentioning you've probably thought of before. But I figured I might as well mention it because, you know, not gonna hurt anything, and maybe someone else watching this now or later might be like, oh, I haven't thought of that. Yeah, Facebook. Yeah, because like Facebook has it where you can do it locally, and then you can also like sometimes like you can put it up as a thing you're selling, but it's just you saying, hey, if anyone has extra of this, I'll take it, and like people will just give you it. Because I do that a lot too. Because like I was talking about with my university, we have the crochet club, and we like burn through a lot of the yarn we have donated, right? So we just have one up, and sometimes people will give us yarn. I mean, that's always a spot to sell it too, because that way it's just like one or two things for yarn money. That and like a like card trunk sale where I got most of my starting stuff. Um, I'm guessing that pattern was like a big pain. Yep. Yeah, no, I totally get that. Jeez. Oh, I don't know if you were here while I was working on them. I think I'm wearing one. But I made these scrunchies. And it's just like, you know, like a little scrunchie. They fold over nice so you can just, like, I don't know, I just like it. And they're they're really easy to make, and it's just something I like them because I can do it without really looking at them. And I'm just gonna do them like you can sell them for pretty cheap and still make your money back, which is the other part of it that's important. And I just got like I think like 100. There's cat hair on them because I have a cat and she. But I got like 100 of these, like, and there's other ones here too. For like $10 on Amazon, I think. I think those are the numbers. I can't remember for beans right now. But yeah, so I would definitely like look into making like scrunchies just if you want a small thing for just to make, and I think they're also cute. And then if you do ever run like a physical booth, they're pretty easy to make pretty quickly, you know. Yep, my friend makes costume. My friend does sewing type stuff for similar things. And he always hates like making glove type things because it's just and also like getting them symmetrical, right? Like getting them symmetrical, like symmetrical enough to where they don't notice, right? Like especially with like if you do like the paw pads like on the bottom, getting that symmetrical enough to where they don't do it, or like their favorite is the good old when you have the paw pads and then you make one for the left hand and so you have them on the bottom and then you accidentally do the same on this side so they're on top, and then you either have to make two new right hands or you have to take them off and then sew them back on the bottom. I've been there for him. uh, uh No, I get you. He is not a fan of making them either. He just does it because they're so popular. Yes, right? Right? You know I get it though, right? Like yeah, no, I'm just excited about the scrunchies though because I just made the scrunchies for the first time. So, that was new for me actually. Because I just hadn't made them before. But I think he'll be appreciative that someone else has gone through the same posh struggle. You know, it's definitely his, because he makes like costumes and stuff. It's definitely his least favorite part of when he makes costumes is having to deal with that part of it. So I think he'll find some peace, some like solidarity with someone else having had that issue, because he'll do like cat costumes and stuff for I think like Halloween and things. Oh my goodness. And yeah, no, he and I have done some like partner things together to like work on like one making together. Oh, I'm so sorry. And those ones have to be like, oh man, oh. You gotta put the heart into those. You gotta put some heart into those too, and like, oh. Gifts are always the hardest because it's so easy to be too hard on yourself, right? Like, that's my big issue with gifts, and that's why I, like, don't do a lot of gifts. Like, people know better than to request stuff from me, or things like that, or, like, what a lot of people I know do now, is they know I get so nervous about gifts. I'm just, like, because normally they see something I make, and are like, oh, you know, could I get one of those? And I'm like, sure. And so I make them one, and it's fine, but I would always get anxious if it was like a new pattern and they were like, oh, could you make it? or if it was a project I like hated making. So what my friends and family do now mostly is they just are like, they're like, are there can I request one of anything in this room? And I'll be like, yes or no. And then they'll be like, can I have one of these? And I'll be like, sure. And then that way, but these are all adults. I know it's so different when it's like kids or that kind of thing, you know? So I completely get that. I am just very lucky that I've not, I'm very, very fortunate in that I've not had requests for a lot of patterns I just dislike, you know? But that's gonna suck having to figure that out. I hope it goes smoothly for you. It does get better the second or third time. Or at least that's what they tell you. But in my experience, that's been the case. So, hopefully it'll just go a little bit smoother now, at least, you know? That's the goal, right? Like, I'm hoping it does at the very least. I actually, like, genuinely think it will, especially since it sounds like you've gotten used to selling, or not selling, but, well, selling too, but making other things, right? It's very different whenever you're just starting to crochet and you make something like that versus when you've been doing it a while. So, yeah. But I figured I'd just, you know. But also, don't mean to plug, but also if it ever comes, like, you're welcome to sub, because I do actually live stream a certain amount, and I plan on continuing to do it during the semester, and it's been, like, actually pretty fun to talk with you. So that's just, like, if you want to make sure that you'll pop back on when I'm live again. Queen. And yep. Is it a younger cousin who's on the younger side? So she just got overly excited. Yep. Yeah, okay, I'll be honest. I've had my mom do that too. Like, my mom has been like that with things I've made. But you know how it is of, like, with kids. Well, yeah, of course you know how it is with the kids where you just can't say no and you're like, dang. Yeah. It's always hard to fend them off, I think. I've always had a hard time saying no, especially, like, this is gonna sound so bad, but when it's, like, one of the little ones that you like, you know? That are, because there's a lot of them where they just get really excited and you're like, that's okay, you know, like, pass them back to, you know, I don't know, it's, like, different when it's, like, because there's the difference between, like, when they're just excited versus when they're excited and they're excited because you made them, and it's like, it's not just, oh, that's cute. It's like, oh my gosh, so-and-so made these and they're so cute. I have a couple cousins like that where it's also like, they think it's cute, but they also are just like, I want something so-and-so made. And, you know. But yep, now you're banished to the kitty paw zone. So, have fun! But, yeah. I think it's always fun to... No more paws! My name is Cat and Mouse Crochet, and I approve this message. So, I completely get that. It drives me insane. Certain patterns do. But yay, and my wax melting contraption works! My wax melt things. Good stuffs. But, yay. So, yeah, you got me thinking about all the stuff I gotta make as gifts now. Oh, so I actually, like, I live at home, so I don't live in the dorms. I currently, like, my thing is that I was in the dorms for my first year of university, and then I moved out to be with my grandma because she lives in the same city I go to school in. She is, she's got she's got some health issues. Um, and, we are very lucky to have the time we've had with her. But we just want someone to be here in case there is anything we can do to, like, make sure she's okay or make her comfortable or anything else. So that's just kind of what I do while I go to school. And I like work and other stuff, so I do a lot, but I'm very glad that I get to spend that time with her. So I get my own spot in the basement because in Missouri land's really cheap. So I get to just hang out in the basement, and it's like my own little apartment. But I can be here and I can hear what goes on upstairs, and then that way, if there's ever a problem or something, I can go up and help. And but yeah, I actually didn't have classes today. I'm on break until the 19th. So very grateful for that break because I have been doing a whole lot of schoolwork for a hot minute now, and so my break actually only started in the last week or so because I had summer school effectively. Um, Not in trouble kind of summer school, just the working ahead on classes, to make sure I can graduate on time and all that good stuff. So I'm definitely enjoying the break, which is part of why I like I'm looking at I have my spreadsheet pulled up on part of my computer screen on my laptop in front of me. And it's got a lot of stuff on there because I did get a lot of commissions just because, I just like to have stuff to do, and I knew that I would have the time to do them before school starts. And I figured, to be honest, I knew I wanted to try and stream more, and I'll probably be like streaming a fair amount. I actually have a minor surgery on the 12th. So next Monday, I'll be getting surgery in the morning, and I'll probably be offline for a few days for streaming wise. But I suspect that up until then, I might be streaming like every other day or maybe every day because I enjoy it. Like it's been nice to meet you and to be able to talk with you and have one of my friends hop in and talk with them and show them some stuff I've been working on. Um, it's fun because I can like send the link of me having worked on it to the person who this is for, right? And so they can kind of see what it looks like, and you know, um, I think it's just a fun way to show part of the process. And I was like, well, I'd like to have commissions to work on during that time. Oh, thank you, thank you. It's a small little thing. It's not really a big deal at all. I just have like a It's just like a small thing I just need to get taken out. So recovery isn't an issue at all. It's just that, just with where it's at, they need to use like the general anesthesia. So I need to like go to sleep instead of just numbing the spot. And they just recommend like taking a few days after that to take it easy. So I'm gonna be completely fine. It's just the idea of, I don't want to be, up in the clouds a little bit. So while I'm talking and being on camera, because I would just get too excited, and I don't think anyone wants to hear me rambling about like a Twinkie I saw in a store 2.5 years ago for 3 hours. Um, I'm sure someone would, but I'm not sure I'd want to deal with. I'm not sure I'd want to deal with all the teasing for having done that, you know. But that's about what happened last time. That and I played Legend of Zelda really, really aggressively. So, but you know, it's like it's just part of it. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's going well. That's going well. I just have my little like I've been testing like some of the wax melts I've been working on, and I wanted to make sure that they were all going. I'm keeping an eye on them because, you know, having a heat source of any kind is something you should be careful about. And I'm always someone who's like, I've always been someone who's never messed around with it. Yeah, I. That is okay. That is really funny. That is really cute. I'm gonna have to. One of my bosses on campus, and he's like actually my friend too. Like genuinely, he loves Crocs, and he's colorblind, so he has these really obnoxious orange Crocs, and everybody's like, "Did you mean to get a different one? Because they're like this horrible color of orange." And he's like, "Nope, I meant to." But everyone always asks because they know he's colorblind. But I'm gonna have to make that joke to him tomorrow. I'm like, "Are your feet okay?" What do you mean? Well, I heard you got attacked by some like you know, like aquatic creatures, like some crocodiles. And just see how long I can like play like hint at it, you know, till he gets the joke. I think he'd have fun with it for sure. So, but literally, like, have you've heard of like chartreuse? So like, think like neon highlighter yellow. That, but the orange version. How do you have that in Crocs? Why would that be made in Crocs? I don't know the answer to either of those questions, but he has them as Crocs. He has them as Crocs. He just wears them without shame. We love his Crocs. They're an icon of our establishment. Yeah, but like literally, you know what I mean? Like you know the color I'm talking about. Like since I said that, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like you get what I'm getting at. You're picking up what I'm putting down. And I'm like I like how everyone I've told that analogy to has like understood it, you know? Um but I think it's fun to be able to joke about. But I am gonna take that joke. You should be. I drop a lot and I don't want it to go to waste. But yeah. So it'll be fun, I think, to bring it to use that joke. So thank you for saying that, because I'll have fun with that one. And he gets back into office after being on vacation tomorrow, actually. So I can go and harass him on the first day he's back in office where everything's chaotic and tell him a silly little Crocs joke. I think that'll be a lot of fun knowing him. But yeah, always he's also a professional connoisseur of dad jokes. So he's a lot of fun. It'll be nice to see him again since I haven't been able to see him in a few months actually, just because our traveling has always gotten in the way. So it'll be great to see him again. Yeah, he's a dad. I was oh my gosh. So yeah, so he became a dad for the first time like 3 or 4 years ago. So around the time I started working under him, and then he became a dad squared year and a half ago. So he's been like evolving, you know. Okay, Carrie, what is it? Oh, I thought you said have. Yeah, dad jokes are what keep the world spinning, to be honest. But yeah, no, he's gotten stronger. He's just been getting progressively stronger as he has more kids, and I fear his power. Um, I don't think anyone can stop him at this point. I think our fate is sealed. Um, and I simply hope that he chooses to exercise his power responsibly. But I don't know if he will. I think he'll just make a joke about it and then do something absolutely ridiculous. I don't know when. Okay, that was good. That was good. I like that. I like that one a lot. Um, Gosh, I can't think of any good ones. Inara, are you being a gremlin? Oh yeah, I can whistle to summon my cat, which is absolutely hilarious. Um, Unless she's sleeping in her favorite cat tower, then there is no hope of summoning her. She's like a little wizard. No magic wizard. Nice. I have never used a tension ring. I should probably, but I just have not been able to. If I'm not feeling the string on my skin, it's not real. My dad is such a dad that, like, you know how at restaurants where the waiters are like, or waiters and waitresses are like, hey, do you want it? Can I get you anything else? This dude, every time without skipping a beat, says world peace or an end to the pandemic or whatever else, depending on the time, you know? I'm like, oh my gosh. Every single time. And then they don't know how to react, and he's just like, ah. It's funny, but I'm also like, Dad, please, this is a steak and shake. Like, please, sir. Sir, this is a Wendy's. But I love him so much. He's phenomenal. He has done that kind of thing in a McDonald's too, I'm not gonna lie. Well, oh, it is just about 6:30, so I will be hopping off here in a few minutes just because I gotta go make some dinner for me and my grandma and make sure she's all set. But it was wonderful to see familiar faces and meet some new people. I will probably be on tomorrow and the rest of the week and whatnot too. But yeah, no, it was just nice to be able to hop on for a bit today and talk and do all that good stuff. So, we'll have to do some more dad jokes and whatnot next time. I think that would be fun. But yeah, so I will see y'all next time, and thanks for watching. It was nice to see y'all.